Did you know we drink it, bathe in it, build cities around it, but water has secretly shaped every empire, every war, and even your daily life in ways you'd never imagine? This isn't just about plumbing. It's about survival, strategy, and the future of our world. They say money makes the world go round, but long before money, oil, or power, there was water. It built civilizations, sparked wars, and continues to shape our future in ways most people never notice. Stay with us to uncover the dangerous, fascinating truth about the one thing we can't live without. Before money, before kings, before written language, there was thirst. The kind that grips your throat and makes everything else disappear. Water isn't just something we want, it's hardwired into our survival. Lose food, and you can survive for weeks. But go without water, you're gone in 3 days, 5 if you're lucky. This is where humanity's story really begins. Thousands of years ago, small bands of humans wandered across open plains, stopping only where streams, springs, or lakes gave them a few days of comfort. These early nomads weren't building farms or houses, they were chasing water. But around 10,000 years ago, everything changed. Somewhere between what is now Iraq and Syria, along a pair of rivers you've probably heard of, the Tigris and Euphrates, people stopped moving. They stopped chasing water and started settling next to it. And that one decision changed the course of history. Almost every major ancient civilization built around rivers. Why? Because water didn't just keep people alive, it kept the land alive. Floods gave the soil nutrients, allowed for farming, and made food not just possible, but predictable. We're talking about places like Mesopotamia, land between rivers, the so-called cradle of civilization. Egypt, thriving solely because of the Nile flooded like clockwork. The Indus Valley, with cities so advanced they had drains, bathrooms, and organized street grids. China's Yellow River, unpredictable and powerful. It was called China's Sorrow for a reason. But here's the twist most people miss. Water wasn't just about farming. It was power, religion, even fear. Entire empires believed rivers were divine. Gods like Enki, Hapi, and Ganga weren't just myth, they were worshipped because they controlled survival. You angered the river, you invited famine. And if you controlled the source of water, if you ruled upstream, you controlled the fate of every town downstream, which led to something dark. Fast forward to 2500 BCE. In what's now southern Iraq, two Sumerian city-states, Lagash and Umma, went to war. The cause? A single canal gate, a man-made aqueduct designed to divert water. But one city accused the other of stealing, cutting off access, sabotage. This was one of the first recorded wars in human history, all over water rights. Sound familiar? Because thousands of years later, we're still doing it. Let's go upstream to what is now Pakistan. The Indus Valley civilization was building something way ahead of its time. Indoor plumbing. Yes, indoor plumbing, over 4,000 years ago. The city of Mohenjo-Daro had bathrooms with drains, brick-lined sewers, and even flushing systems using buckets of water. Every home was connected to a main drain system that ran under the city. Let that sink in. While people in medieval Europe were literally throwing waste out their windows, ancient South Asians were managing hygiene with technology that wouldn't be fully rediscovered in the West for another 3,000 years. Over in ancient Egypt, priests used sand, charcoal, and even boiled herbs to purify water before rituals. In fact, sharp minds in India's Vedic culture around 2000 BCE described purifying water by boiling it, exposing it to sunlight, or filtering it through charcoal. Translation: early water treatment existed thousands of years before modern science discovered it. Now let's talk Romans. Most people hear aqueduct and think of those iconic arches spanning the countryside, but few realize just how revolutionary Roman engineering was. Over 250 miles of channels, powered only by gravity, moved fresh water into cities like Rome, feeding public fountains, baths, toilets, and even upper-class homes. Every person in Rome had access to about 1,000 liters of water a day. Compare that to parts of modern Africa, where some families survive on less than 20 liters a day. How is this possible? Power, structure, and design. The Romans didn't just value water, they organized their entire society around equal access, at least in theory. In reality, the rich paid for pipes to divert public water to their homes, and maintenance often favored the elite. Sound familiar again? In 11 BCE, Roman Emperor Augustus issued the Lex Quintasia, one of the first laws regulating water use. It stated that anyone caught damaging a public aqueduct could face execution. Why so harsh? Because water wasn't just a utility, it was the lifeblood of the empire. Now, here's where things get messy. Literally. After the fall of Rome, Europe entered what's often called the Dark Ages, and sanitation collapsed. People feared water. No, seriously, they actually believed washing could open the pores and let disease in. Bathing once a month was considered reasonable. Royalty bathed about once a year. Result? Disease exploded. The Black Death, cholera, dysentery, typhoid. Many of these spread because of contaminated water. Wells and rivers became cesspools. Public fountains dried up. Aqueducts broke down. Centuries of water engineering forgotten. London, 1858. The sun baked the Thames River. Sewage floated on the surface. The stench was so thick that Parliament literally abandoned the building. Newspapers called it the Great Stink. Hospitals overflowed, thousands were dying, and medical experts completely baffled. They thought disease came from bad air, miasma theory. But then came a hero from the shadows, a civil engineer named Joseph Bazalgette. He proposed a radical idea: underground sewer systems built not just to flush waste, but to redirect stormwater, protect rivers, and prevent disease. By 1865, millions of pounds were spent, and when it was complete, cholera outbreaks practically vanished. Historians estimate that Bazalgette's sewers saved more lives than any physician of that century. Why? Because clean water prevents disease better than curing it. Simple, powerful, often forgotten. Across the Atlantic, modern plumbing was rising. Pipes, faucets, toilets, filters. By the 20th century, Americans were enjoying some of the cleanest water in the world. But even then, cracks formed beneath the surface. Fast forward to Flint, Michigan. In 2014, officials switched the city's water source to save money. They didn't treat it properly. Lead pipes corroded. Thousands, including young children, were poisoned. One decision, one shortcut, and lives were ruined. That's the danger of forgetting how sacred water is. It's not just a resource, it's a right. Here's the twist. We live in a world where we ship bottled water across oceans. Coca-Cola uses 500 billion liters of water every year, and yet 1 in 3 people globally don't have safe drinking water. Major companies, Nestle included, have been caught extracting groundwater in drought zones and selling it back as bottled water. Some towns have gone dry, while corporations profit from their springs. What does that tell us? The old pattern hasn't changed. He who controls the water still controls the people. In the Middle East, water has always been scarce, but Israel developed a national plan to recycle over 85% of its water. Through desalination, cloud seeding, and gray water reuse, they took water scarcity and turned it into opportunity. Proof that with the right strategy, technology can overcome geography. Scientists warn, by 2040, major global cities like Sao Paulo, Cape Town, and even LA could face serious water shortages. Deserts are growing, glaciers are shrinking, aquifers are drying. Some countries are already fighting over river sources, border dams, and water rights. The next great war? It might not be fought over oil, land, or ideology. It could be fought over water. Water has shaped our greatest empires. It's built legends, inspired religions, and killed millions. But we rarely think about it until it's gone. So maybe the first step isn't a new filter, a new pipe, or a new war. Maybe it's remembering that what makes us human starts with a single drop. What would you do if your water was taken away? If this shocked you, wait till you see what happens next.